everyone, my name is Allie and welcome to my channel. And today I wanted to do a little bit more of like a sit down talk with you guys kind of video. And this is a topic that has been on my mind for the past few months. And if we're being honest, like maybe the past year or so, but has been really brewing and solidifying in my mind within the last probably since like November. And if you haven't already noticed from the title, it's basically about the death of Booktube. And I know that sounds so dramatic, but as a booktuber and as somebody who has been creating Booktube content for the past like 6 years, almost 7 years, I have felt it really escalating in this past like half year. And I think there are a lot of factors to this that I kind of want to go through, but I also want to mention that I believe that this is a bigger issue than just Booktube. I think that this is something that has been happening on YouTube for a very long time, because at least in my experience, and I've talked to a lot of other people who are both creators and also viewers, that overall, not just within the book community, but in like every single genre on YouTube, views have been considerably down, more so than they usually are. Like if you're a creator, you know that your view count kind of goes up and down throughout the year depending on like when school is in session, when people have finals or midterms or summer or whatever. Like there are definite moments throughout the year where your views might be lower than normal or might be higher than normal. And that's pretty typical. That's something that has always happened on YouTube, especially with the algorithm the way that it is. You never really know when a video is going to be pushed out more than your other videos are. And it's really a gamble trying to figure out what the algorithm wants and what viewers want, and trying to find a happy medium between all of that while also considering what you enjoy making. So I just kind of wanted to put all of that out there at first, is that like, yes, there are moments being a YouTuber where your views are going to be lower, but this is so different than that because it's not just happening during certain points of the year, it's happening pretty consistently, that creators across the board have noticed that views are not the same as they used to be back then. And I kind of want to provide some screenshots because I think that it might be a little bit more helpful to see what my past videos have done and then compare that to what my videos are doing now. So even like a year, 2 years ago, my views, especially for things like wrap-ups, hauls, really basic kind of booktube content, would be pretty high, like not super high. What I've always been told as a creator is that like you're kind of aiming for at least getting views that are 10% of your subscriber count. So if your subscriber count is like 7,000, you should be aiming for around like 700 views. Back then, a year or so ago, that was pretty common for my videos. Most of that kind of content stays pretty consistent where views are concerned. Like they're not getting growth past like maybe a month out from when I post the video. The views that I see right now on my channel, those are the same views I had for pretty much the entire month after I posted that video initially, even if the video is like 2 years old. I only have a handful of videos that continue to get views even past like a year, 2 years, 3 years after I posted them. And those are pretty much like huge outliers. And I have a few of those kind of videos, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. Because like if you compare the views that I've gotten on wrap-ups in the past, those kind of hover around anywhere from like on the lower end would be in like the high 400s to the higher end being somewhere in the thousands. And that's pretty normal, at least for my channel. I liked having those kind of views and I didn't really see much of a problem with it. It kind of stuck with the like 10% of your subscribers sort of rule. And so I didn't really see the red flags. Like I didn't really notice that like anything was going wrong or that I wouldn't continue to grow from that, because ever since I made my channel back in, I think it was like 2015 when I first started my channel, and at that time I was doing mostly like beauty content and lifestyle content, stuff like that, and it wasn't until about 2017 that I transitioned over into creating pretty much consistently book content. And ever since I made my channel into a booktube channel, the growth that I've seen has been pretty consistent. So I could expect to get like a new fresh load of subscribers, of viewers, whatever, like pretty consistently every single month. And I was hitting my goal marks in a way that made me feel pretty good about it, and it wasn't anything like unreasonably large. Like my channel never grew in the way that a lot of my peers' channels grew, but that was okay with me because I felt like my growth was still consistent enough to be like reasonable. And I've always liked being kind of a smaller channel. I like the fact that like I have the viewers that I know, that I see in the comment section of like nearly every single one of my videos, who interact with me, and we've created this really great community. So I was never like super insecure about the fact that my channel was a little bit smaller in comparison to other booktubers who started at around the same time as me or even after me. But I would say that within the last year or so, my subscriber growth has like come nearly to a halt. It's such a different landscape when it comes to YouTube and viewers and subscribers and stuff like that, which I understand that, you know, apps kind of go through different life cycles, where sometimes an app is going to be way more popular at this time and then not so popular at another time, and then maybe it'll gain that popularity back. You never know. I think a really great example of that is kind of like Instagram. Instagram was super popular for such a long time, and then it went through a few years of like being not popular at all. Like I feel like no one was ever on Instagram for a while, and now within the past like year or so, it's gotten a lot more popular. And so I don't want to say that it's like a total death to YouTube or booktube in general, because you never know, like maybe in the next few months there will be a huge boom on YouTube and it'll not go back to normal, but at least get more popular, because I don't think that we will ever go back to like the true heyday of YouTube. I would love to see it personally, because I love YouTube, I love long form content, but I doubt that we will ever see that again. And I think what a lot of it boils down to, and this is what I've talked a lot about with my friends and my peers and stuff like that, is the fact that TikTok is so hugely popular, and I think that that has really hurt the popularity of YouTube in the long run. For a while it seemed like YouTube could kind of hang on, and even Booktube could kind of hang on, but I think that with the introduction of Book Talk, it really murdered Booktube, like majorly. And it's so strange now, and I feel like I'm kind of living in the Twilight Zone, because when people bring up the book community now, Booktube is like never mentioned. It's like it never happened, and it's like it's not happening right now, which is so strange to me. No one will ever bring up Booktube. It's like Book Twitter, Bookstagram, Book Talk, no mention of Booktube. I've seen it happen so many times across platforms when people are talking about the book community, and it's just so strange that people completely disregard and forget about the impact that Booktube had. It's definitely giving that scene from Toy Story when Buzz Lightyear comes in and Andy picks them both up and looks at Woody and is like, I don't want to play with you anymore, and drops him into the void. Like, that's what I feel like as a booktuber, and part of this booktube community is that like we really are the Woody in that situation. And the thing is that like I don't hold any grudge towards Book Talk. Like I enjoy Book Talk. I try to post on TikTok as regularly as possible, but personally I just don't like short form content. It's really hard for me to make videos that are so small and so tiny, because I want to talk at length about these books, and I feel like that's not as possible on TikTok. And I know some people make it work and they do it really well, but that's just not my bag. It's not for me. So watching the decline and basically the death of Booktube is a little heartbreaking for me, because I love this platform and I love getting to make these videos. And I think that that has been something that I have had to renegotiate with myself, is that even if my videos only get like 200 views each time I post, which is what's been happening lately, while it can be really discouraging and sometimes it makes me not want to post on here, I kind of have to remind myself that, like, you're posting these videos because you love to talk about books, and that's the entire reason that you created this channel and turned it into a Booktube channel, is because you didn't have anybody to talk about books with. Like, literally nobody in my life reads. Nobody talks about books in my life. I am the only one, and I felt so like insulated and alone in that. And I loved watching Booktube ever since I was in high school, and I was in high school back in like 2013. And so I've been watching Booktube since like the very, very beginning, and I've always loved it. And before I turned my channel into a Booktube channel, I had been so afraid to make videos about books and talk about them, because I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. How are you going to talk about books in a coherent way that is gonna make people want to watch your videos? And what if everybody hates you and thinks you're really stupid? But thankfully, I started posting my Booktube videos. I got over that fear, and I found a real, true, deep love for making Booktube content. And so I always have to remind myself of that and be like, you're making this for yourself, you're making this for your consistent viewers and your friends and the people that you love to talk about books with. And I feel like that's just what's going to have to sustain me from now on, is that, like, I can't count on growth. That's just not in the cards for me anymore, which is a huge bummer, and I hope that that changes and I still hold out for that. But I have to also be super realistic and be like, you might not ever get to 10,000 subscribers. That's just not in the cards for you as a creator, as a person, for whatever reason. I have my ideas of why I never got the kind of recognition that other booktubers got that, you know, created channels around the time that I did, but that's not really for this video. It's just really for my brain, and that's not a super healthy way to look at things either. So I just want to say that I think it's really disappointing and really sad that Booktube isn't quite as popular as it used to be, because I remember when I made my channel, like, it was the height of creating Booktube channels and getting into the community and adding to the discourse and everybody's general love for reading and books and stuff like that. And so I always found that really exciting and really inspiring. You know, I would watch all of these new accounts get created and new people come into the community and add their 2 cents and, you know, make these really great videos. And I watched so many people come into the community and leave the community and stuff like that. And it was always really interesting to see who would stick around and who would, like, really go for it with us. And I miss that. And maybe it's just nostalgia, maybe it's just like I need to move on. But I love Booktube, and I'm gonna stay here for as long as I possibly can. I love talking about books. I love having this community. I love the friends that I've made along the way. And people might be hell-bent on killing Booktube, killing YouTube in general, but I am way too stubborn for that. It's the Aries in me, it's the Sagittarius in me. I have a lot of fire in my chart, so I am very, very stubborn. And if Booktube and YouTube are sinking ships, I'm gonna be right on there sinking with them. So yeah, I really wanted to talk about this because it has been weighing so heavily on me for such a long time, and I just felt like it was the right time, the right moment to talk about this, because I know that it's been weighing heavily a lot on other people that I've talked to as well. So I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Try to keep it as nice and positive and lovely as you guys always are. I always really appreciate seeing your guys' comments. Yeah, let me know your 2 cents down below. I want to know what you think about YouTube and Booktube and how it all interacts with the changing community and book talk and stuff like that. So definitely let me know. And I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like chatty sort of discussion video. I really love making videos like this, so maybe I can do that more in the future. I've definitely heard from some of you that you like these kind of videos, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. And if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, Storygraph, TikTok. All the links are down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!